Imagine you're dating your boyfriend for 8 years. And every year you think, this is it. This is the year he's going to propose. And he doesn't for 8 whole years. So what do? Break up with him, right?
Yes.
This woman sued.
How are you going to sue about that?
Was there an oral
Sue for
agreement that they were going to get married at a certain point in time?
Well, her boyfriend, she's 26, by the way. Her name is Gertrude. And
well, there's the problem.
Well, his name is Herbert, so it's not any better.
Good Lord. They're meant for each other.
What is he thinking?
Gerbert and Gertrude.
Gertrude and Herbert.
Oh, yeah.
She's 26. He's 28. So they've been dating, since they were babies, and they've been dating for 8 years, and he always promised, young Herbert, that he was going to marry Gertrude. Always. They said they were going to have children together. But Gertrude still lives at home with her parents, and Herbert still hasn't proposed. So she sued him. She told the court that she's tired of waiting, plus she's not sure if Herbert really is ready to get married. And she said she's pretty sure she caught him dating another woman.
What is she suing him
what's
for,
the end
though?
game?
Is the suing for money? Is the suing for forcing him to marry her?
Well, I don't really know. So if we could get our official attorney on the radio, that'd be great, Lisa Lanier.
Sure thing.
I don't know what you can sue for, but the judge, I guess, said this is happening in Zambia. Is that right? Yes. And the judge says there's nothing we can do for you here in this country, but in other countries there are things you can do, and kind of just left it upended. So I don't know what that means.
I want to know what they can do in other countries.
Like nothing you can do here, but in other countries you can do things.
So you're saying in the United States you possibly can sue?
I guess so. I don't know if that's if anybody here in the U.S. has done this.
The
Let
only
us
thing
know.
I can think of, if you have an oral contract, because I know a lot of places an oral contract is
binding,
submissible.
Yeah,
submissible.
Yeah,
submittable.
Submittable
as evidence.
Admissible.
Yeah, and submittable.
There you go.
You created a new
submissible
word.
There you go.
You
more efficient.
It's like a
much more efficient.
It is.
Anyway, so and if they said that, but I just don't. It just seems like you can't win.
Well, yeah, because what if
is she hot?
her name's
not sure.
Gertrude, but
I don't know.
Oh, we do have our official attorney, Lisa Lanier. I think her middle name is Gertrude. I'm not sure. Could be.
Gertrude Lanier.
Hey, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
This is what's crazy is the outcome in Zambia was, like you said, the judge said, I'm sorry, here in this country, there's no cause of action. But oddly enough, in a handful of states here in the United States, including North Carolina, you can sue under these kind of circumstances.
What?
And the idea is, so, Gertrude actually, so, the idea is that in Zambia, the idea is that the woman is supposed to remain chaste, and this goes back to medieval times, and that the man will ply her with promises of marriage, and that once an exchange of promises of marriage is made, even prior to the marriage, going back to medieval times, then the woman could give her virginity to the man. This is the way it worked, all the way back to medieval times.
I would promise
and
on the
so
first
that
night.
was a huge deal, right? So it was a huge deal then if the woman was promised marriage, gave her virginity, and then the man never followed through. So that was considered a contract, and it was an important contract. So Gertrude is saying the very same thing happened to her, that Herbert, promised her marriage. She gave him her virginity. She's actually already had a child with him. And now 8 years he's stringing her along saying, yeah, we'll get married, but he never follows through. But in her country, there's nothing you can do. Crazy North Carolina, you can. There's this thing called a heart balm statute.
What?
And heart balm, BALM, like a salve.
Oh, okay.
A salve. Yeah, heart balm laws. And here, what happens is basically the same kind of thing. If you've been strung along with a promise of marriage and you've relied on that to give either your virginity or money, or maybe you gave up your job and relocated to North Carolina, all kinds of things like that. It's called reliance, contractual reliance. When you rely on someone's promise and you give up something valuable, and they break that promise, there's situations like this where it's a contract and you can sue on it. So in North Carolina, there is definitely a cause of action unless the decision to break off the marriage was mutual. If it's mutual, nobody is at fault. Nobody has a cause of action. Or if there was a really good reason, like, you broke it off because you found out your fiance was cheating, or you found out he was gay, or you found out, whatever, like he's not, somehow it's not going to work out for the marriage. you have a good, legitimate reason. And the other interesting thing is, falling out of all of this is alienation of affection. That's a tort that falls out of the heart balm. It's called a heart balm tort. And that's where, if your marriage is disrupted because of a third party, then you can go after that third party for damages for alienating your affection. So that's all part of the same set of laws.
Now,
and so it's kind of a fun little thing to unpack.
When you say you can sue, like if the person doesn't marry you and you just strung along somebody, are you suing for money or are you suing to make that person get married to you?
No, you're suing for money because they won't make the person marry you. You're suing for money. And so the kind of damages that you can get, emotional damages, emotional distress, like if you were left at the altar and you were humiliated, you can sue for wedding costs that you advanced. You can sue for like the reasonable reliance stuff I was talking about, like you gave up your good paying job in another state and you moved here for the person, any of that kind of stuff. And then the interesting thing is, what happens to the ring, right? It's an expensive item. And so if an engagement is broken off, it depends. North Carolina is fault-based. And so if one of the parties wronged the other, then the person who was wronged gets to keep the ring. But if it was mutual, there was no fault, then the giver of the ring gets to keep it.
There's probably
So
a lot of men that are very stressed out now.
I believe it. I believe it.
They've been lying to women all along. Like,
Oh, sure. We'll get married one day.
I'll marry you. Let's get one.
And all the ears of all the women in the triad who've been waiting, they're like, hello? They all perked up.
Yeah.
Hey, Lisa, is this true? When you mentioned the ring thing and who gets the ring and whatnot, I have heard that if you give a ring to somebody and it's on a holiday, it's considered a gift and you can't get it back. And if you don't give the ring on a holiday, there's a chance you can give it back if you mutually break up.
So an engagement ring is considered a conditional gift. And so these rules apply where it is a ring that you give in anticipation of the promise. It's a conditional gift, meaning this is conditioned on your agreement to marry me. Mm-hmm. So it is not, if it's an engagement ring, it doesn't really matter what day you give it on, as long as it's clear that, I'm giving you this ring as an engagement ring, I'm proposing to you, then it is a conditional gift.
Okay.
And so you get it back if the two of you, or if she says no, you get it back.
Because I have been advising all my friends that for years not to propose on a holiday because I was told that it would be a gift and you could never give it back if she says no.
You got a bunch of men proposing the day after Valentine's. People are like, why'd you do that?
Yeah.
I forgot.
Oh, yeah.
Jason told me. All right, there's a lot of information there. I didn't know that about I always got confused about the engagement ring because I've heard all sorts of things. Mm-hmm. But I've heard women that are like, no, I'm keeping it.
It's mine. It was given to me.
And they never got married and they just kept the whatever, $5,000-$10,000 ring. Crazy. She's great. Official attorney of Jared and Katie in the Morning. Lisa Lanier, thank you so much. If you're ever injured on the job, contact her right away at hireaheavyweight.com. That's hireaheavyweight.com.